Welcome back to another episode of Fire Drinking Coffee. On today's episode, we talk about the difference between obsession and control when it comes to your training, competition, and habits surrounding it. If you guys want to support the show, check out our website, www.fdcpodcast.com. You can check out everything there. Hope you guys enjoy the show. Well, we're back in the studio, back here in Virginia. It was a lot of road tripping and travel for us, so it's good to be back. Scott, are you happy to be back too?
We're back. I'm happy, but I'm loving it.
Yeah.
I love Virginia.
Good old Virginia. It's better than just
for lovers or
sitting
something.
in the car for 10 hours, right?
You know, you're right. However, I like the road life a little bit. It's you get the right balance. It breaks up the routine, which is cool to do from time to time, especially because I guess that's a double-edged sword. It's somewhat routine to break the routine and just get in the car, jump in a plane, and go do some jiu-jitsu. That is routine, but it's a cool routine. I like personally, and I have this saying that I've been telling friends for many years. This is just my personal take on living near Washington, D.C. For long periods of time, but I've recommended to many people that the way to optimize your relationship with living in or around DC is to take frequent trips out of DC, and you enjoy it more because it kind of has this weird like force and energy that weighs on people. I think I've heard that it's like a dark energy vortex. I don't know what that means, but it's like that's an internet thing. Let me Google that real quick. It's just hilarious.
The dark energy vortex in Washington, D.C.
Have you heard about that?
No, but I believe it.
Washington, let's do this real fast. Washington, D.C., dark energy. Fuck, I spelled that wrong.
I do agree with the, it is nice to like break it up and be in a different place for a little bit.
Yeah.
But I mean, I stacked my trips, right? I was home for like 3 days and then was back out to Louisiana, so
it was not at all
just a lot
of
travel.
Dude, this is what Google's AI response was. Dark energy, in quotes. In Washington, D.C. is generally discussed in metaphysical terms. Well, all right, yeah. With some online theories pointing to the city's Masonic street layout, the Washington Monument obelisk, and the Pentagon's pentagram design as symbolic anchors that create high power, albeit chaotic or draining, energy center, often described as a vortex of power, hungry, or manipulative energies.
So they're talking about like demonic cults on your AI.
Yeah, so
I
it's
don't
like
think
chicken
that's
or the egg. It's like, what came first? Was it the dark energy that attracted the cults, or is it the cults that brought the dark energy? Either way, it's just good to get a break sometimes. And you come back and like, nice, dude, I like it here. It's cool, dude. But like, you got to go to Dallas or Chicago or Italy or whatever, you name it. Sometimes an actual vacation.
Drive through the emptiness that is Ohio.
Yeah.
And
although,
Indiana.
real quick, dude, I know you were which I support. You were trashing your Ohio friends. Very much, I support that. I don't do that enough. Just sidebar comment, because I have a lot of Ohio people I'd like to trash, but with love. But still, we trash them. There is a cool city that we drove through. I don't know if you noticed it, called Strongsville.
Oh yeah,
yeah, dude, we drove through Strongsville, and see if John and the Ohio boys were like on top of the chat, like clapping back at you, I would flex that. If I were them, I'd say we're all from Strongsville, pussy. Well,
where
are you from, Fairfax?
They were from Eastern. They were from Youngstown and Akron. So,
right.
You know,
boring names.
Eastern Ohio.
Those are boring names compared to Strongsville. Whatever.
I don't think I dropped the to the one from Youngstown. I don't think I dropped it on him that I was. Because I think we were joking about it in the car. I was like, he's basically from Pennsylvania. I don't think he would have liked that.
You can't win. Yeah. Did you call him Ohio trash?
No, I did not call them Ohio trash, but I did tell them that their state.
That's like, it depends on what level of like, how fun how aggressive you want to get with your buddies on the shit talk.
I told them that their state, they've really built it up and it's not all they've told us. Like, I didn't, I wasn't shitting on them.
You were shitting.
I was shitting on their state.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's the point. Yeah. You got to invent something fun to talk shit to your boys about. It's pretty awesome. Anyways, you don't have to inject more controversy into that group chat. I'm sure it's fun already.
Oh, there's plenty of
Yeah.
Ohio comes up like every day, so I have plenty of opportunities to rag on Ohio.
Good, and there will be more. But yeah, dude, I'm glad to be back. It's nice.
Yeah, it's nice. We did get some good topic ideas on the road, which is nice. It's one of the nice, there's a lot of cool things that come out of competition, right? Like, one, the competing itself, the adventure in a different place, meeting new people, but also you come up with new ideas, right? Like either for your training or your or the podcast, right? Like new topics to talk about, new things to work on. Sometimes just shit you want to try out. Like it might not be something that happened to you or was part of your, your matches, but you see someone do a move and you're like, oh, like that's kind of cool. Let's check that out. So, you pick up a lot of cool new ideas and concepts at these events, which is nice. But so we kind of got talking about like the events around competing, and I got thinking about where's that line between controlling and obsessing, right? Like controlling stuff and obsessing over stuff. So obsessing over your pre-match, the competition, all of the things around the competition, right? Versus just controlling what you can control. And like, where is that? Where do you kind of get into that, right? I guess defining those things, right? Like, what is obsession? Because we're kind of I'm kind of
Somewhat
putting that
abstract.
as like the negative side of
the word obsession has
control, right? Like, because obviously you have to like care about something, but we're saying obsession in like the negative sense of like you've gone beyond the level of I'm just trying to utilize this to like I'm trying to control these outcomes or these inputs for my match to like a level that's unhealthy for you, I guess. Like that's kind of how I'm thinking of it.
That's what I was hearing too when I heard like the framing. Yeah, that registers.
Yeah, because I mean, there's a lot of ways that kind of lends itself, and like it does kind of bleed, right? This isn't a cut and dry like it has. This isn't like a cut and dry like this is obsessive behavior versus this is beneficial versus bad versus like I don't know where the line is because I'm sure it all kind of bleeds together and like your peanut butter and chocolate get mixed. So like I guess one easy spot to take this right is like food, right? It's a weight cutting sport. There's definitely that's an easy one to be like
disciplined
line and like it's easy to be like, all right, I can control what I eat, but like there's definitely that one probably is a finer line of where like it becomes unhealthy, right? Because like that's a direct there's a direct health circumstance involved there. So there's definitely an easy way you can easily draw that line of like example here, controlling in that sense would be, all right, here's the I need to make X weight, I weigh this weight now. Here is a defined outline that keeps me fueled but also gets me there, right?
I think it's a good like I guess it's a good that's a good like subject to target this like concept of the paradigm or the continuum of like controlling in a prepared, disciplined way. If we want to put that as, if we want to create a continuum for this conversation and put that side there, it's like, yeah, we'll control and prepare adequately versus becoming obsessive and I guess stressed and anxious because of that's when I think of obsession, it's like an uncontrolled overthinking process. But to use that on food, I think this is a good one for us to stop on because I had some other if you want to use competition and like the obsession versus controls like that, within that world, I think you could use it for lots of different things. It's a good subject. Like the thing about the food, in my opinion, is yes, I think if to the root of what within this world of like competition we're discussing this framework around, in my opinion, like the more you do this, and I think this question, like you alluded to this a second ago, because this is kind of broad and abstract, but eventually I think this, however folks manage this continuum of control to obsession, it's an individual thing. So like you said, it's not always like you're never going to perfect it, but like you're going to get better at it. I say that to say that the more reps you get in, the more experience you have with competition on the subject you brought up of food, I think that gets a little bit simpler.
Yeah.
And therefore, like that, and I think that just takes a little bit of work. It does help, like if you got a car full of people, like we did with like 3 pretty seasoned competitors, one a little bit newer. Like it helps for that newer person to be around more seasoned folks to make that easier. She can learn by example and like kind of avoid some of the difficulties that we've had to deal with on that spectrum as it relates to food. But to my point, if you're controlling and behaving and preparing in a disciplined manner, a couple weeks out, none of us really had to cut a ton of weight, but like you could, let's say someone had like an MMA fight like that, a heavier weight cut or ADCC where you have a heavier weight cut, you're, like I mentioned, like let's say like 10 to 14 days. I think around like really 7 to 10 days for myself, talking about Chicago was when I had to like truly dial things in because I was a bit heavier. Now, again, that was planned and controlled along with the seam to kind of increase my weight so I could be towards the top of my weight class. But we had a plan. And I've done this lots of times, but I had to really start to think and dial things in about 7 to 10 days out. But I did that work, which made that less of an issue for me. Granted, I was thinking about it when we got to Chicago as it relates to like, what can I and what can I not eat and or hydrate myself with so close to the match. And if I'm hopefully making some, a logical statement here, Mike, what I'd add to that is that that removes me having to obsess over it as like an internal dilemma for myself because I mean, I just have mechanisms and like systems and like plans and the tactics to deal with something like that. Now, someone else might not, which could push them into that obsession or stressful, maybe obsession. Like, if you're like a couple pounds over 2 days out and you're panicking because you don't know what you can and can't eat. Like most people, we talked about this with Andrea, like sometimes you just default into starvation mode, which will work.
Yeah, and I think that'll
get you like into this obsessive loop of like, fuck, what do I do? Do I eat? Do I not eat? What can I eat? What can I have some grapes? Should I eat? Like, how much of this should be protein? What should the protein be? Like, dude, like, yeah, that can fuck you up.
And that's kind of why I think this is like a good starting point because like that's very common in combat sports, right? Like that person is just like, well, just I mean, it's happened to all of us at one point or another, right?
Yeah.
Where you're just like, oh, like, well, I weigh this much, and like, oh, like you start to think that if you eat this one little thing, you're gonna gain like 5 pounds magically, right? You know what I mean? Like you get into that like weird, you start being so concerned about what it is you're eating versus like, you know, looking at it from like a productive and realistic standpoint, right? Like you're like, oh, well, like potatoes are bad or this is bad or like you start labeling these foods as like
you start thinking about every little potential thing you could put in your body and like you have to like study it. Yeah, it becomes like mentally taxing.
And like and the reason I say it kind of bleeds over is like from the outside looking in, some of these preparations, right? Some of like the planning and stuff can seem obsessive, right? Like, oh, we're gonna go to this place for dinner. We're gonna go to this place for breakfast. Like it can seem a little like, but it's just rigid. It's just structure. You got to create a level of rigidity that like frames it all out. And you know, like, all right, well, I have, so like, this is how we talked about it, right? We have X amount of time we're going to go to dinner at 5, which means that we have for most of us, we'll have somewhere between 15 and 24 hours before we have to weigh in, depending on who it was. So you can be like, all right, well, I have this much time. I weighed this much before dinner. I can pretty much know I can eat this much dinner, this much food. And then you just plan accordingly. Like first night, we split food because we were like, all right, well, let's kind of
I personally needed to. I probably could have had more food, by the way, but
I probably could have too.
we both could
You're
have.
smart though.
But we were trying to get like some of the. I'm gonna say the word heavy lifting. We were trying to like get some of the work of the weight cut in a little on the early side, so that like Saturday we had a little more leeway, which we did. So
Yeah.
and I would say that worked. But yeah, you're right. We had to calculate all that stuff and think about like timing of the meals, where we're gonna have them. We're on the road, so it's at a restaurant. Do they have the right types of food? They do. Great. Okay, we're gonna eat relatively early, move around a little bit, then everyone's gonna kind of send it back to the hotel room early, rest, relax a little bit, throw on some bullshit. You watched John Wick, which rules. I watched John Wick too, because you inspired me, and I watched some other stuff. But anyway, like we're just watching movies, like killing time, and then like you pass out, you wake up, and like yeah, things become very regimented. And it's just a part of the job. It's just part of like the you have to make weight and you want to eat because we're going to go do a physical combat sport that requires energy, a lot of it. So you need to eat.
Well, and I think that's kind of, and you touched on it with like the earlier about, not that like default starvation, right? And I think there's plenty of times where it would be very easy, like when you go to that, we go to breakfast or something, to be so worried about making weight that instead of figuring out something that works to eat, you just don't eat, right? Like and I think that's kind of where you start getting into that, like, and I think productiveness is the determining factor here, right? Like, is this a productive decision or a non-productive decision to achieve the goal, right? Like, it's not productive to not eat because now you're not fueling your body, which you need fuel to go and compete. And like, there's a difference between eating for health and eating for performance, right? Like, you got to decide like, all right, well, I need carbs. I need a little bit of protein if it's long enough ahead. Like, mainly there's like the big things, like, but really it's competition time. You just got to get that energy in. Get the carbs in, get the fast burning stuff, fuel those cells, right?
It becomes relatively simple as time goes on. But like, I think like the original, purpose of this was just like, it's a thing. It's a thing that people could like potentially have that struggle of obsession to control on. But like, you do it enough times. It's like I said, I think the good thing about Chicago for us was, everyone had done a lot of their work in advance. No one had fucked off the last like 8 to 9 days. So no one was in that desperate position. So then, like I said, thankfully, like the collective wisdom and knowledge of the people in the group who had done this enough times, it was just evident we were going to be able to eat. So, and I say that to say that like just control, not obsession. Like I think we had that handled pretty good. Like, very well. Actually, we ate steaks and potatoes. It's pretty fucking nice, man. Because like you said earlier, like I've definitely had fucked up times where I've gone in just drained. And I had to just like dig deep. I was just like, I'm just going to be starved if I have to make weight. And like sometimes I've done that and it's not always been bad. It's definitely not always been good. It's not, and I don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm just saying like, I'm always personally like, this is a thing that it still kind of lingers in your mind. You're always still questioning how good you are on weight. So like, I'm always in the back of my head thinking like, if I have to go in starved, I'm going in starved because I've done it before. I don't want to do it again. And I don't think I'll ever have to if I do my job correctly. So, because like I said, just simply put, there's a way to do that, and like there are people out there who know how to do it, and like thankfully, we did it. What I'd be curious to get your opinion on, if we want to keep this in the realm of, obsession versus control, but like as it relates to like going to a tournament. I had before we even started recording, I was thinking we could even talk about this in the training room too. But
we'll
take it whatever direction.
We'll go wherever.
Okay, but while we're talking about it, like let's maybe pivot that, still keep it in like the comp world and think about like the match itself, like and all the obsession. Like I think people can get a little too. In one way or the other, we talked about this for the show a couple times, but like doing like pre-match preparation, watching tape, studying other people, and I bring that up because like we've had that conversation of like where some people don't like doing it, and some people really want to do it, maybe almost too much.
Yeah,
obsession versus control. I feel like a lot of us are going to be in between, but that's the thing. And then like maybe all the thoughts going through your head, like what if the guy pulls and does this to my leg or does that? Like your mind can run wild.
Yeah, you start obsessing over
All the
like
variables.
minutia within the match, and you can almost start like being like, well, it's gonna go. I'm gonna do this, then they're gonna do this, then I'm gonna do this, and you like obsess over the sequences of a match that never happened and never will happen. Right? Like that match isn't happening. And like I think we were talking about this before Kate's match and with Leo before his match, where it was like, just pick the first thing you're gonna do. Right? You don't get to you can control one thing. Like if there's one thing you can control in the entire match, it's the first thing you do, right? Like that first action. So actually that's probably the best like cut and dry example.
I think that's the medicine for that too, in my opinion.
Where it's just like there's things that you can control within a match, and there's things that you can obsess over prior to the match, right? Like you can control how much you know about your opponent. You can control the first thing you do, but you can't control what your opponent does.
Right.
But you can absolutely obsess over what's going to happen and what your opponent's going to do based on all the things you've seen. And so on watching tape, I've heard, I don't remember who was talking about it, but like someone had a pretty good, like, they were talking about this very similar thing about watching tape. And it was, when you're watching tape, if you watch everything about your opponent, it's very easy to like get tied up in those matches and like how those matches went and start to obsess over match sequencing versus figuring out like, just pick like, I need to see how this guy loses and just find matches that they lost in, and then you go and watch them lose, right? Like where they beat. So like you can almost focus in and control that like data versus like just watching everything they do. And like you might see them just demolish somebody, and like for some people that might start breaking up your psyche, and like or you might see something that's just like a complete like weird match that really doesn't have any good data for you if you're just watching the match. You know, does that like
it does I think that it makes a lot of sense. I think that kind of like mirrors what I was trying to say earlier about someone just needing to figure out individually for themselves like what value this provides for them insofar as what you touched upon earlier, like what's the right amount of thinking and assessing studying tape to the degree that it benefits you, and then just stopping once you've hit that, once you're like, all right, I got what I need, like cool, I don't need to like keep going deep. And then like you said, kind of like getting steered into, I would argue, one of two extremes, like watching a bunch of matches where the guy lost and you're like, this guy sucks, fuck him, like I'm gonna fuck him up. Maybe that's good in some capacity, but also it could make you a little bit like too like arrogant. Or the reverse, watching all the matches where he wins, you're like, this guy's so fucking good. Like I don't know how he's beat all these people. Like how am I gonna deal with that? Right? You know, you gotta find the sweet spot, the Goldilocks. Like you know, oh, this is just right. To your point earlier, what you mentioned about like I think the remedy in that realm of obsessing about how a match is going to happen and like doing the things preparation wise, like watching tape, that help you feel informed. What do you think about the horn?
Jesus Christ,
these people are
sad. They won't hear it on the tape. But like, fuck God, that dude's just laying on it.
Whatever. But to that, I think it's just like putting yourself in a position to where you're informed as to what this individual does when they're on the mat. And like you said, like, I mean, I think you just kind of figure out for yourself, like just if you want to watch like how he loses, you're like, oh, that's how I should be. Like he's lost here. So that's where he's exposed. That's where he's vulnerable. That's a data point. I would argue like you should also watch like maybe like just a personal thing, like how do they start the match?
Yeah.
Where do things tie up and begin? How do they win some matches too? Like where are they dangerous? Not that you should get pulled out of what you are already planning to do, because you touched upon something earlier, which is like you get the information, then you start thinking, in my opinion, that's what I think people should do, is like just start focusing on the actions that you want to take and just your job once you get out there. This is like ultimately, in my opinion, this is the medicine. It's like just your job. The thing you should think about it. You don't have to overthink this either, because like by the time we're here, you should have already done this work. Just believe in it. We'll prepare you for it. Like you can still think about it, but like find that healthy amount for yourself. But just go out and make that first initiation of action efficient and well delivered, technically, because you've done the work for years. And you also just at a certain point have to have like a release of like, I don't control all this shit.
Yeah, and like if you just go out there and try not to let them play their game, ultimately you're just playing their game at that point, right? Is that like?
Well, I guess it depends on how you want to
so much on that.
Like, well, you gotta fight your game.
Yeah,
you have to fight your game. And no, I get what you're saying. And if I wanted to be nitpicky, I would just say like to an extent that is part of our jobs. When we go out there, it's like we don't let them play our game.
We want to take. Well, like if you just go out there and.
You're right.
Avoid, right? Like
100%.
Rather than doing anything.
Everything because like, oh, this guy's so good here. I just won't go in and do anything. Yeah. That's not a winning strategy as well. You're right.
Yeah.
We're saying the same thing.
Yeah.
We're saying the same thing. It's just said different ways.
Yeah. Just reframing it, I guess.
Totally. But so anyways, on that, but here's the thing. In my opinion, like this is another thing that like, I think, it's probably easy to say, though it still needs to be said, like as coaches and you know, people who are trying to mentor like younger athletes, like it helps, like you got to advise these guys. Cause like if they can learn this stuff faster than like you or I did, great. That's our job. But they will learn it themselves too by doing it yourself while also being like, exposed to by a coach, like, hey, these are the ways you should try to discipline your mind. Think about these things now. And then it goes into the person's brain, and we don't control how people learn things, but like, if you blend like the instruction and the explanation with them experiencing themselves, I think those are the two major inputs. Like that person's going to figure it out on their own. That's what I'm saying. Like you can do it on your own without someone telling you, and you will figure this stuff out if you keep at it. But if you have like someone telling you now, like Kate, like a new competitor, like, hey, think about this now. Download that combined with the experience you will have of actually doing it yourself, and then get to this conclusion faster than we did. That's our role as coaches, is to like put her or other folks in a position to like develop their minds more quickly. And in my opinion, I think there is a solution, but ultimately her solution will be what works for her and what works for her brain. Cause she might take the message me and you are talking about here because that's how we think and we understand it that way. But she might have it comprehended her own way and might explain it her own. And it may even end up still being the exact same thing, but downloaded via her mind and how she thinks about shit. So, my way of saying this stuff, I think there's like formulas and like systems for these things and like patterns that folks can, because we're all human beings, and like on the food thing, we have both our physiological and our psychological patterns for that. And on this, similarly, although different, there's physiological, like if you think about like the nerves, the anxiety that someone might have, that's physiological. It's mostly mental too. It's a little bit of both. But like if you get the mind kind of downloaded and strong, the physiological stuff starts to go away, and then they just kind of get it. And they still, it's never zero, like the obsession to control thing, in my opinion. Like we're all still trying to like navigate this. Maybe some like enlightened ones out there totally have it down. But I bet if you ask like some of the best competitors in the world out there, they'd tell you the same thing. It's like they're still grappling with it because it gets filtered through them individually, and like they're still feeling things. Yeah, and like I would like to get people to where like feeling the things like it helps you. You're just like, oh, like you do all that. Like we talked about this when we were driving back. Like I mean, my excitement / nerves came day of a couple hours before I competed, and I was like expecting. I was like, when's it coming? When's it gonna come? And we talked about this on the road, which is like what I like about some of the we'll call it control for using the same paradigm here, the same continuum here, like, and I would say in a positive way, insofar as like this works for me. There's always a next thing you have to do, right? Like getting to dinner on time and saying, I'm only going to have 8 ounces of steak and some potatoes. And like, I just focus on that. I just got to get to that thing. It's the same thing as saying, what's the next action we're going to take? Yeah. It's just a series of actions. Just like when I think about once I high five and knuckles this guy and I'm out there, I got to hit this arm drag or whatever it may be. The very first thing will be my hand fight, or like points of contact, right? Same idea, but I just translate that over to like, what's the next thing I got to do right today? Well, I got to eat. I got to exist. So I just always have a thing that gets me to it. But that was what helped me kind of delay any nerves I felt, but they came, and I was just like, all right, cool. Like I think I'm tricking myself a little bit here, but
It's almost like, all right, check that box. The nerves are here.
that's what
we
it
can
is.
move on.
It is checking the box, but I've also like we've talked about this too, where it's like I'm choosing to frame it as like a cool thing now, to where I'm like, dude, we just get to do this shit. This is awesome. Like, when else do I feel things? You know, like this is a feeling, a human feeling that you really experience. So I'm like, give it to me, man.
Well, and like,
And then it passes.
I mean,
You go and you do it.
I also, like, I also get the nerves, and like, yeah, it's the same thing. It's like, I almost want them. Like, it's concerning if I don't have them, right? Because then it's not like
That would be
there's
weird
a level
if
of
you didn't have
excitement,
them.
right? Like, but it's just being used to it. Like, it's part of your body is accustomed to this happening, or your mind, or whatever.
Mhm.
You've done so many times. But also, like, that's the nerves. That's definitely a spot of like obsession that people get into, is they get so like worried about like not being nervous, right? That it almost gets worse. There's like that, I don't know, that like expectation, or they feel like, well, if I'm going to be good at this, I can't be nervous. But like you said,
You gotta get that out of your
even the
mind
best
now.
guys
Yeah,
get nervous. It's just like
they manage it.
you manage and harness it. Like that's what you control the nerves. You don't like.
That's a losing battle. You're gonna have a bad time if you think you're just gonna control all of those things. They're involuntary.
Yeah.
It does. It gets to a point where you feel like you can kind of like you can manage it. That's the best it's ever gonna be. Is like, can I manage this well?
You direct it, right?
You
like,
direct it.
You direct that.
So you really don't control
energy
it
to the right thing.
I would also add that, in my opinion, I think that those sensations, those feelings come from like doing something that like you care about. And is if you get to a point where this starts to become like, not that you don't care, but it becomes so like routine, maybe it's time to find the next thing in your life that kind of inspires that. Personally, and this is like exposing my psychology a little bit here, but that's fine.
I think it's almost like, because I almost think of it as like an excitement, right? Like, because it's your system getting excited. Arousal. Yeah. States of arousal. Shout out, John.
But yeah, it is. It is. You're right.
Yeah.
It is that.
Yeah. And so like, it's.
You're doing this thing you care about. You want it to go well. Like, you've put a lot into it. You've invested into it. You're excited to go do it.
You're nervous because you're excited and you care. you know, like if you're not nervous, it's because you either aren't excited to do it or you don't care.
Something's off.
Right?
If that's like, if you don't have that sensation, something's not right.
And you might not even know that going into it, right? Like you might not know that you don't care.
Oh, I don't give
about
a fuck
it
anymore.
Like, but then like it's the day of, and you're like, oh shit, like I don't care about this match. I really don't want to be here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
like,
another conversation.
That's a different level of of
still something you should address.
Yeah,
if you're not enjoying this, you don't give a shit. Like maybe you don't do it. You hope you're getting paid to do something.
Yeah,
like
if
that.
You don't like it, I hope you're getting paid.
Yeah,
to do it.
exactly.
But yeah, I mean, like I think that is another area where that kind of falls in, and like the obsession over perfection, also like. Within that same scenario, right? Like competition day and like all the things surrounding it, like the obsession over everything being perfect, to where, like, oh, well, like I have to, because it's not, right?
It will never be
the
perfect.
times float all around. Like that's why we control what we can control. And it's like, all right, well, we'll just be warmed up and ready. We normally do. I think it's only like 2 hours. Like we start warming up like an hour and a half, 2 hours before, right? Like
for you,
for me,
yeah.
But like we give ourselves, we
have
allot,
a window. You have
a certain amount of time, so that because we know it's going to shift up.
Yeah,
like we know, like, oh well, we'll be done. We'll have like this much somewhere between 15 to 30 minutes to before that we go in there. So at least we aren't like, oh shit, like I need to finish this warm up and then I need to get in the bullpen, and then so like that's controlling the scenario. Whereas like if the level of I need this to happen at this time, so that if it changes at all, then everything's just going to be ruined for the whole day. And like like they're very those are very similar things, right? Like, but one is within your control, the other one's not. Right? I think that's maybe that's like one of the like defining factors for this, right? Like Because again, all of this is like kind of bled together. Like you're controlling things, but like you kind of edge on.
You can't control a lot.
Yeah.
That's the cool thing. That I will say that's probably a good thing too, because like the sooner you can learn that lesson too of like I'm not going to control, like getting that through your head. Like I'm not going to control everything, but like we control the things we can control, like you said.
Yeah, don't let perfect, like the saying, don't let perfect be the enemy of good.
Yeah,
right.
100%. You're yeah. Well said. I mean, the IBJJF will show you that things are not controllable. Which I said, like, even like that's why you do your early warm up, because you're expecting some fuckery with the times and shit like that. So like it's kind of like anticipated. So you can manage that too, but that's a good thing to think about. How about when Andrea's uniform got like goofed on, man? Like it's like sometimes you just like you don't like how's that for a thing you don't control that you're like, fuck, I got to do what? I got to change my clothes.
Well, and like and it's different every time too, right?
Yeah, they're funny. It's like, but there's like maybe some wisdom in that, in like accepting that like something you're going to control the parts you can control. If you accept that there's going to be many things you're not going to control, but you still do it anyways, that's good. Because if you think you're going to perfect controlling everything, that doesn't work in life. It doesn't work here.
Oh no, it definitely doesn't work. Yeah, and like, IBJJF is definitely it can definitely drive you crazy with like that trying to perfect it, right? Like if you ever tried to, I gave up on it a long time ago. I never even thought about it.
They're not the only ones. We just happen to be there, and like we've been pretty active there, so that's just we know a lot about them. Dude, when you walked in, I got a phone call from a guy who was like, they fucked up my division, not IBJJF. He's like, I'm pissed. He's like, they put it doesn't make any sense. Different league. That's jujitsu for you.
Yeah, it happens.
It just happens, like there's weird shit's going to happen. So I think that adds to what we're talking about insofar as like you got some like when you do this, that's a good experience to kind of go out there and be like, oh, like weird curveballs are going to get thrown at me. That to me lends towards, if done correctly, that healthy habit of saying let's prepare really well. Because I'm a big fan of preparation. Preparation it's in the art of war. Like choosing like failing to plan is a plan to fail, right? But you got to go through you got to get your lumps a couple times. You got to go do a tournament and like you got to have the curveball, like the random punch you didn't see coming. Just you got to get hit. You got to learn from that. Then you come up with mechanisms around that to develop your plans. But like timing of the warm up, what to eat, where to eat, when to check weight. All that stuff, so that like these are like little habits that have been kind of like little stepping stones that were kind of put in place that make people a little less likely to be impacted by things that they might not think they can control. They can, but then still giving them room to deal with the things they can't.
Yeah,
that helps build someone's character. Within reason, I'm not saying go out there if you're the IBJJF or New Breed or whoever and start throwing wild ass curveballs. But like that's life, dude. Like it's gonna happen. People are gonna have curveballs. My opponent had cramps in his leg or something. Like he couldn't. He wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, he could not continue. Right,
he could not continue. Like I that was a curveball for that dude. Like shit's gonna happen. I had an IBJJF match like kind of similar to his where I had to withdraw from the finals years ago. I mentioned this to you guys at the event. I busted my head in 2 different spots. Curveball.
You're like I can't do
this. At the end of my match, which I did win, I was wrapped up. Dude, looked like a fucking mummy, dude. I had like gauze all over my head. I was like, I'm good. Wasn't expecting to have I have a scar on my chin, a scar on my forehead from that match. And I think I still have like a permanently fucked up nose from it. No big deal. Nose looks fine. But like I broke my nose. I adjusted after the match, which was hilarious. I was like, why can't I breathe right? And then I was like, oh. And then I didn't really hurt, but I like literally moved my cartilage over and I was like, yeah, all right, that makes sense. I did headbutt that guy really fucking hard. And that was also where I cut my butt. Anyways, curveball. I cut my face open. I was like, I'm not competing in the finals. I think I'm good. I don't think I can handle one more face cut. I think I've done enough for today. I made it out alive.
Like this is just gonna get worse if I can't.
Yeah. Well, curveballs. Shit's gonna happen, man. It's like there's enough like it's a combat sport. So like crazy shit will happen. So like we manage what we can manage, and we put in these little like bits of wisdom that we've learned, and we kind of like share it with Kate, share it with Andrea, share it with you, whatever, share it with other people, share it with your team, and be like, make it a little bit easier for these guys.
Yeah.
They have it so good.
Yeah, they have it easy. They get
Have
to
it
learn
so
all this
good.
stuff after we've all had to struggle through it.
The dumbass way. I've done it.
Yeah.
I've done everything probably the dumbest way possible.
After we've had to,
But I always take
keep
notes.
running into brick walls.
Yeah, dude.
until the brick wall breaks down.
I've smashed into so many brick walls. Dude, it's crazy. It's comical, actually. Whatever. Most people, yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, heck, most of this stuff I've been on the obsessive end on at one point or another. Like, I'm not saying we're this isn't like
Yeah, dude, of course, me too.
Like, it's more recognizing the obsession, right? Like, I've been the obsessive weight cut guy before because I'm doing stupid weight cuts that probably shouldn't have done. Like been on the definitely been a little, where like something didn't go, things weren't lining up on competition day, and like you start to get like all weird about like, well, I didn't get to do this thing, so like, oh well, shit, now I can't do that other thing that I like to do before. Oh, I didn't bring this thing. I forgot my this mouth guard. I have to wear this mouth guard, or whatever weird shit, right? Like, it can cause those little like failings of not really having realistic systems, right? Like realistic expectation really causes like that doom spiral of like where you just start like nothing else is right and nothing's gonna work anymore, and like it just takes your head out of it. And so like to not create those scenarios for yourself and to just be willing to accept, right? Like you have to just be willing to go with whatever. Prepare yourself to go with whatever's going to happen, right? Like be ready for
the curveballs, man, because like like shit's going to happen. Like you can't lose it. Just it's okay. Something fucked up. Like, all right, that's not great. Like, I mean, I would say like if you fucking like got hit by a car the day before and you're like, my legs are broken, it's different. But if like, you're like, oh, my favorite rash guard, fuck, my this, my that, like I don't have my scale, like manageable. Like, yeah, you got to be like willing to, you have to handle a little adversity. Because it will come,
and it goes for that goes with every aspect of this too, right? Like it's not just for competition, it's not just for day of, it's not just for the food. Like,
this is for life.
Yeah. I mean, it even goes in the training room, right? Like you can't like if your favorite training partner doesn't show up, you're not gonna just not train, right? Like it's just one example.
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of this stuff also falls into place with that, like in training, because it's super easy to get like super obsessed over shit that doesn't matter in the training room. Like deciding you're going to work on, I don't know, just picking something that's you just really want to do this move, or like I just need to add. I don't know, I want to be a De La Spider guy, but you suck at De La Spider. You know what I mean? Or not just suck at it. It's just like it doesn't work with anything else you want to do, right? Mm-hmm. But you're like, no, like I'm shoving De La Spider into my game. I don't know, it's just the one.
You picked a thing. Yeah. You picked something.
But there's it's easy to fall into those traps, right? And like sometimes it's fun to do that shit, right? Like just to play around with different stuff and whatever. Like I'm not saying don't try new things on the map, but like you can very easily like get super obsessed over a specific, whether it's a move or a position or a concept, and almost try to like shoehorn it into around all of your training around this one thing, and then it ends up being some weird thing that you get to competition and realize that never happens. Or like that's not a scenario that you're ever really in, or maybe you're a Masters 4 competitor and you just really don't have the opportunity to do cartwheel passes,
shots fired
or whatever. I don't know. I'm just like, well, Masters 4
does that, don't you?
He's Masters
but doesn't he cartwheel pass
too? But yeah, he's like 330 and his cartwheel passes. It's fucking awesome. Insane. He's a
specimen,
dude. He's crazy.
Yeah,
but like there's stuff like that too, and I'm sure you probably had more stuff like for the training room.
My thing with the training room, I mean, granted, like I don't know how much longer we want to go on this subject, but we can keep going as long as we want. But because that might be like a whole rabbit hole to go down. But my thing with, you know, it's a good question. My, I guess my angle or whatever, and you're kind of speaking to it a little bit too. I think we're going to get to the similar vein here.
I'm just circling the drain.
Well, I think you're touching upon like the theme of what I was going to say, basically, which is that, like, yeah, obsessing over, like, I don't think it makes sense to obsess over like the outcomes of training, simply because the outcomes of training,
winning training.
Yeah, that. I mean, there's just so many ways you can talk about this in the training environment. I mean, I would say, like, if someone's obsessing and it's having, back to the beginning of the episode, it's having like some sort of negative impact on their experience, like what they're feeling, or like the value they're getting out of it. They're not happy. They're not excited. They don't feel like they spent a good amount of time. If they walk out, they're mad because the training didn't go exactly how they had in mind. That concept of like someone no longer having a positive experience from training, like, I would say that their values and their goals perhaps are all out of line. They're all misaligned. If that's like, if you're leaving the training room and you're thinking that, like, I'll tell you, I went into training today at 1:00. I did have a plan, an idea, and I would say I don't think I did any of it. Maybe part of that was maybe I fucked up in training, but also, like, I didn't leave training thinking like, oh, I'm pissed.
Yeah. Oh, this was a
training
terrible
didn't play out
day.
exactly how I had envisioned it. Because number one, it's just practice. It's glad to be on the mat. I think part of that, I don't know. I was gonna say the word dilemma again. Part of that dilemma with folks kind of thinking that way, or like not having the right experience in the training room. In my opinion, like I said a second ago, I think it's like a misaligned values and, like, I guess, goals around what they want out of their jiu-jitsu. Just because, and, like, simply put, like, I mean, if you're coming in like with a competitive attitude, this is another subject. Maybe I don't even know what we're gonna talk about in the next episode, but whatever. I'm gonna go on it real quickly here. Like, if you're, you know, a good training environment, like the training environment I was at today, very competitive, really good dudes. It can be competitive while you're not like trying too much to compete. If that makes sense, because there's no such thing as like a training room medal. There are no, like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, like,
it matters, and like having it be fun and competitive and like difficult is good. But you're not like, you're not
nobody
cares about, like, if
no one cares that
like
you beat
did the thing.
so and so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You individually might like be glad that you performed the move well, and that's cool, and like you should be. Or you might be like, yo, like, I'm not as tired. I went against like really good black belts. These guys usually wear me out. Like, that shit is good. Like, you should like extract the good things about what you do, but it's not like I don't know, if you're getting an ego about it, your values and your goals are completely like misaligned.
Yeah,
it's misused ambition.
If the goal is to beat everyone in the training room, yeah, it's definitely a little.
Well, it's just like it. I mean, you can beat everything. Your goal. Here's the thing. Like, I think there's nothing wrong with, like, especially, let's say you're a competitor. And you're like, dude, like, I want to try to like submit everyone in training today because, like, I need to be submitting people. Like, I have no problem with that.
I guess if it's every day, right? Like, if
I would say if you're only doing
reason
it
for showing up,
we could talk about guys like that for sure. And my issue is really just like with if they're allowing that to cultivate some bizarre ego that comes out of it. Like, you're not a champion, dude. Like, you're to that point, what you just said a second ago. Like, if you're constantly submitting everyone in your training environment, like, you probably should cross train, or like you need to go do something that challenges you a little bit more. But you can still do that in a room where, like, you might be better than people, but you can modify your training. Like, you shouldn't, in my opinion, if you want to get the most out of this sport, and if you as the individual want to get as best as you possibly can, that's what you should be caring about. Not about, like, did I submit everyone again? Hell yeah, I've been doing that for 8 years straight and I'm the guy. That's silly. Yeah. That's whatever. That's cowardly. We've talked about this before. Coward, you yellow belly. But I mean, if that's your thing, like, you should like try to like strive for something a little bit more. But what I will say, because like you can be the best dude in the room, in my opinion, and still like you should be building up your teammates. If it's the people you've been submitting for 8 years, they should be getting better too. Like, you should actually care about that. Make sure that you're doing your part, even if you can dog them all the time. Like, do something to make them better, because they'll push you a little bit harder. It should be becoming more difficult for you to do that, in my opinion. But take a step back. You can still be like, there's nothing wrong with being like just like nasty in your gym. Nothing wrong with that. It's gonna happen. It happens all the time. But train differently.
Yeah.
Get these dudes in good positions. Put yourself in fucked up positions that you might like. You need a little bit of like a challenge.
Well, that's something you
To
can
a little bit
control
of
in the
get a
room
little
too.
yeah, exactly.
know,
Yeah,
like-
that's situational smart. Like, there's just so many ways to like increase the value of what you're doing, and like, if the person just wants to stay in that really small frame of like, I just want to always beat the same people the same way all the time, like that's this. We shouldn't even indulge that as a conversation.
Yeah.
But we are talking about that. But nonetheless,
We're indulging.
we're indulging a little bit. But like but okay. But like you can get more out of those training environments. That's what I'm saying. And you know what? Like at the end of the day, like some people are going to do that. It's not that big of a deal. Because like I said, it doesn't really mean much.
Yeah,
It's just that's their problem. That's
There's
but
no
also, like,
reason to get like crazy worked up at
if
over
they're
it as
getting
like
what they
another person.
yeah,
right? Like,
exactly.
they're still paying. They're paying to be here too,
Yeah,
and like
yeah, and if
there's plenty that you can control about that too, right? Like you can just not roll with them if you don't like it.
This
right?
doesn't mean they're bad guys either,
Yeah.
or bad girls. Like,
No.
it doesn't make them bad people. It just means like that's what they want out of their training, which is fine. That's just probably different than what like maybe a more serious competitor wants.
Yeah. And if that
and the more
if that
serious
detracts
competitor
from your jiu-jitsu experience too, you can just
no. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Like I mean, it's just like I said. It's just I just think it's misalignment of values and
Yeah.
goals, which is fine because like who's to say that person wanting to do that? It's anything. That dude comes in. He's a good person to be around. Just that's how he rolls.
yeah.
That's great. Nothing wrong with that. Like that can be a valuable asset too.
Sometimes you
And if
need
that dude's
rep.
happy with, he's like, I'm gonna do jiu-jitsu. I love doing this. I'm gonna do it 10 more years. Like, good
I
for him.
love choking out the white belts. It's so fun.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, but yeah. I mean, he's not. Again, he's not hurting people. He's not a bad
Yeah.
dude. Like, it's just like that person's limit is self-imposed on what they're gonna get out of it, and like, and just other people might not be interested. Like a black belt world champion could come into that same room and go against that guy and decide that, you know what, if I want to fuck this guy up, I'll fuck this guy up. But also, like, what do I get out of that? And like, I have a tournament in a month, and like you said, like maybe I want to do the reverse De La Hiva spider thing. Maybe that guy has a plan, and he comes in and like, we're just not playing the same game today, dude. You're playing like win at all costs, and like, good for you. I'm playing like, how do I? My last match 6 months ago, I had the opportunity to get like a really tight choke. I missed it, so like, I have a plan. I'm coming in, yeah, like. This guy might get his jollies by saying he passed my guard, 4 days later when I move or if I'm traveling or whatever.
Yeah, when I
good
change
for him.
cities.
We're probably never going to have a conversation about what he was trying to do in that 5-minute round that we had and what I was doing in my 5-minute round. But if I told him I just was trying to actually get my guard passed so I could recompose, and you fought with everything you had, you got it. But it's because I let you, because I wanted the challenge. And, I don't care if you go and tell everyone you passed my guard. That's fine. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like you see what I'm saying. It's just people are playing different games, and nothing wrong with it. I just don't think you should get like weirdly obsessed over like that type of culture in a negative way.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair for sure.
Yeah, I think we've kind of
I think we've done it.
we squeezed the juice out of this. Although there's probably more to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, just to kind of like summarize it, right? There's things that it's just in life in general, but like specifically within jiu-jitsu, there's things that you should control, right? Like there's things that you have control over that like, it's okay to want to have your hand on that and control that and regiment it and structure it. Like, especially around like, if you have certain goals in your training, or you're going to a competition, or you're trying to change weight classes, like there's things that you do need to control and structure and create, like be disciplined around to achieve those things. And that's totally fine. That's not like, some people that have different goals might see it as obsessive behavior. I understand that as well. Yeah. Right. Like that's just part of it too, is like, you might have people that are outside of those goals that are like, oh, like, why don't you just take today off? And like, it's like, well, like, no, because my goal is this, and this is how I achieve that goal. And to them, it might be like, oh, well, you're like super obsessed with the jiu-jitsu thing. I was like, well, no, like I just have a thing that I care about, and I have a goal and I meet, right?
If you want to talk about normies, But this conversation is not for normies.
No.
Yeah, dude. We just
To summarize the control side.
We
of
treat
that,
them
right?
very kindly, but we just don't even. I personally wouldn't even indulge in conversation.
Yeah.
With people who talk that way. There's nothing wrong with it. They can be friends with me, but I'm we're not the same.
There's a difference between obsession from the outside and like obsession that is truly non-productive. I think that's the way that we're using this term in this in this bubble we've made.
If you want to be successful in this game, you have to have a disciplined mind.
Yeah,
you just have to. And
maybe discipline versus obsession is the better terminology for it.
I like control
versus obsession, but I think
discipline is kind of like the key to kind of bridge the two, because this stuff probably is obsessive.
Yeah, I mean,
like when we were joking before we recorded, we were like, we're probably like, we are obsessed.
That's what I'm saying. It bleeds.
But it's a disciplined version of it.
Yeah,
yeah, and like to what you're saying, dude. Like, I mean, yeah, like you do have to think the stuff. The first 2/3 or 75% of the conversation, like you have to discipline your mind. You got to figure this stuff out, man.
Yeah,
you got to figure out your weight cuts. And it's going to require some discipline and a little bit of awareness, but the discipline gets easier when you have the systems, right? Much like the mindset that we talked about too. Like, same thing. It's hard at first. It might force like obsessive, compulsive, crazy thoughts in your mind, but like you can learn how to manage that too. And you're going to have to if you want to keep doing this.
Well, and it kind of like goes back to the beginning of the year when we were talking about Star Wars. The obsession, right, is the
Sith.
Is the dark side, right? It's very tempting. It's very tempting to go like 100% over the top, all the way in on, every aspect of it, and like get like super deep into the the nano level of everything, and be like, oh well, like I'm just gonna. I can't eat this at this time because then at this time it's gonna get in the way of this other thing, and I need to train today, and so I can move these things around, or and it's very easy for it to like turn into this like chaos because you're trying to like control it so much that, like, you know what I mean?
Bro, we might need to have John back on to talk about that, because that just sounds to me like obsessive compulsive, which is like a fear anxiety thing. And like you said, what is it? Fear leads to, what was the Star Wars? Like, what does Yoda say? He's like, fear leads to hate, or hate leads to fear, and then it leads to the dark side. All this shit.
Yeah.
These are just emotions that lead to the dark side.
Fear leads to hate, which leads to
something.
It's
you
fear,
get to the dark
fear
side.
And hate are emotions are bad. That's the whole
uncontrolled emotions.
Uncontrolled emotions, and like but again, it's
Poorly
very
managed.
like to just let it control you is very enticing, right?
Like it's easy. It's easy. It's you're right.
So like maybe that is like kind of the barrier, like, where you want so much control over it that it kind of breaks and starts to control your life rather than you controlling it within your life, right?
Right.
So yeah, I mean, it's just Star Wars again. Joke's on you guys.
Everything comes back to Star Wars.
It's all Star Wars again.
It is, dude.
So yeah, I mean, like that's kind of how I'm seeing it. Like as we talked about it, but like as we're going through it, like it's a very fine line, and like maybe you do need to live somewhere in the middle, like we've talked about on those Star Wars episodes, right? Like you might have to like every so often dip into that like little bit of obsession to then use that to create your regiment and your discipline around certain things. But you got to find the things you care about, and there's definitely obsession involved with that and whatever. But got to make it productive.
That's right.
Productivity is is really the name of the game. I guess that's the key plot point here, right?
Yeah, man. And this stuff isn't for everybody, man. Like at least the way we do it, it's not for everybody. I mean, I think everybody can get some value out of trying it. And some people will go further than we went with it, or are going with it. But because it does require a lot of this stuff. Like I said, my attempt to kind of summarize, it just requires like you discipline your mind, because like you're gonna have to do these things.
Yeah.
And someone says they're obsessive, I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. They are. Call me obsessive, but I don't. You know what I mean? Like you said, you come up with like the managed version of it. It's like you can call it obsessive if you want. Like,
yeah,
this is what I'm doing.
Exactly.
What are you doing? Trying to get me not to train? Yeah. Are you trying to tempt me?
They're tempting
to fail?
They're tempting you to fail.
Cool. I welcome this, you little demon. Anyways. Yeah, that was my attempt. That was my shots at the normies who try to like steer us off
Those
track.
normies.
Nah, playing. I like the normies.
Maybe we should do a normies episode on Patreon.
That would be kind of fun, dude. Just to bring in like a friend and be like, "What is all this bullshit?"
Yeah,
and like
bring
kind of
in
make a
an
joke out of
outsider.
it. Yeah,
That would be
dude.
kind of fun.
That would be fun to make.
That'll definitely be
because they're right. By the way,
yeah,
this stuff is obsessive.
It's
They
obsessive.
are right.
It is weird.
It's just you're just like, yeah, it's yeah.
But
I live with it. It's fine.
It's productive and gets us to the goals that we have, and so it's okay.
Well, this is the people who do this. This is what they do. We are this people, so that's just what it is. It's different than what you do.
When you look at it from the outside, it's fucking weird. We're jujitsu people. We're weird.
Resigned to that.
Yeah, that's just part of life.
Yeah.
But we'll rag on ourselves.
Nice, dude.
But yeah, guys, that was Fires Drinking Coffee. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to support the show, there's a couple ways you can do that. One, check out our website, www.fdcpodcast.com. We've got a bunch of stuff on there. We've got blogs. All the episodes are on there. Transcripts. I mean, you can find everything Fighters Drinking Coffee on there. And then there's also a page if just checking us out, and you can join the newsletter on there. So we'll be sending that out every month starting out. If there's more activity, it'll maybe start coming out more frequently. But for now, we're going to commit to one blog post a week and one newsletter a month for you guys. And as another thing you can do this either through the website or by going to patreon.com/Fighters Drinking Coffee Podcast. Or you can go to the donate tab on our website. You can find the link to our Patreon where you can join and get for $5 bonus content. We'll also have some additional goodies on there that actually the first 20 people that sign up will get to vote on what those things are. Ooh. So
we're still gonna we reserve the right to veto your bullshit.
If it's too crazy.
But I do love the vote. Crowdsourced.
I think I have a list of things. I think if I remember when I set up a list of things. So when you sign up for it, it gives you a poll and then you select it. I'm pretty sure I set it up. I'm not a web guy, so I might have fucked it up. Who knows? And then lastly, guys, the last thing is you can go to Nova Barbell Club. Check them out. They have a discount code for you guys. It is I Love Coffee. It'll get you 50% off on your initial month if you do their subscription app program.
It's a crazy deal, guys. 50% off of a month of dues.
Yeah, so
this is a business. 50% off is a lot, you guys. Super happy to have that.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Serious business.
So if you guys hop on there.
That. Don't be lazy. Sign up for it now. Get a custom plan.
Yeah. So get that plan. Check it out. Thanks for listening, guys. Love you. Bye.